place to be vulnerable, open, and yourself. Make sure to join in as we are live as we chat with our guests who are here to share their experiences and wisdom. And this, after all, is content we hope will help you. Without further ado, please welcome your host, Philip Parker.
Roxanne's having a party, but welcome to first ever Headspace with me, Phil Parker. There's been lots of conversations we've had about this personally, and I am just so grateful to be able to do something like this. This is basically for mental health, and I have two amazing guests, and I will continue to have amazing guests as we make these episodes. And we're just going to talk Headspace. We're going to talk what we're going through, how to get through it. And today I have Roxanne Luciano, who's going to be a resident guest. She is a musician, but also has gone through some mental struggles herself. Just to show that, just because you're making it big in the music industry does not mean that you are not going to have some mental issues like everyone else, right? And then Kyle Miller is with us today. He is he's amazing. I've been chatting with him on Facebook, trying to get to know a little bit more about him. We're going to do a roundtable quick introduction and give your own introduction, but because I really feel that I didn't give you guys much justice. But Kyle, why don't you set up what you're the resident expert, so to speak. So tell me what your background is in, sir.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would call myself an expert, but I've learned a lot of things for sure. I specialize in helping people heal from narcissistic abuse, and that's kind of my main gig. And
I need you already. I need you.
So, but yeah, 14 years in an abusive relationship, and all of the fight and struggle and work and getting help and all of those things to fight my way out of it, which was not helpful at the time, but has been incredibly helpful in the process of helping my clients to not have to go through all the misery that I did in order to get help. So. Yeah.
It's incredible how many people don't know what narcissism even looks like, or for that matter, what narcissism is. So I think for everyone who's just really interested in that side of the trauma, like maybe there's people out there right now who's like, oh my God, that's me. What the heck? Tell me, in your eyes and in the most easiest way possible, because we could go into all the experiences as well to go with that, but what narcissism actually is.
So I think a lot of people, because we look at the tendencies, the abuse, the manipulation, gaslighting, the control, all of those things that we look at, and those are aspects of it. But I think one of the biggest differentiators that I look at is there's a lack of empathy, there's a lack of compassion, and there's a lack of accountability. And so a lot of different things kind of overlap with the different tendencies, which look like narcissistic tendencies. And I think so when I think about narcissism, and I by no means can diagnose, I don't diagnose, but looking at that, I'm leaning towards somebody might be a narcissist if they have however many of those different tendencies, and then also have a lack of accountability, empathy, and compassion, and that's kind of the where I look at. But a lot of it is if you don't have a healthy relationship and you're trying to do work to have a healthy relationship, and everything always seems to be your fault continually, according to them anyway, and they're not making any progress, and they're not willing to do anything different, then whether or not that person's a narcissist or not, which is a possibility, but that's not a healthy relationship, and it's not somebody that's willing to change.
And I think it needs to be said as well that this is not just a relationship that could be romantic. I've had situations where, not personally, but I've been told about family members or friends or people that just are generally abusive. He's just dropped off, so we're gonna get him back in just a second.
Where did you go?
There he is. Hello. You didn't like what I said. Anyway.
I was like, what happened?
So, yeah, like your sister, your brother, your mother, your cousin, your aunt, it can be anybody. It's not necessarily someone who's your lover or your girlfriend or whoever. It's very much a it's a one size fits all kind of scenario where you can be literally abused by anyone around you. I don't want to get too much into the details and the nitty gritty of this, but Roxanne, you pointed out that I need you, Kyle. Talk about kind of not. We don't want to get too into the details, and we don't need to name any names or hang anyone up. But what kind of experience have you had with that narcissism?
So recently, I've been with a narcissistic person, and I can say that it's something that I've never gone through before. I've gone through bad people, but I've never dealt with a person that's textbook narcissist. And so it was a very big difference. It's no accountability. There is no, I'm sorry. And if they are sorry, it's sorry that you found out. I'm not sorry that I did it. I'm sorry that you found out, and I'm more mad that you are calling me out on it. Yeah. It's one of those things that it makes a person feel very small. I know as a woman going through it with a male narcissist, it's something that makes me feel very minuscule as a person, because there's absolutely no accountability at all. It's more so, if I'm wrong, you're wrong for finding out that I'm wrong. So now it's more so, now it's your fault. Now it's my fault.
Yep.
And that's what I've gone through for years, like years of my life. I've questioned myself for so long. I've had my parents question me. Like, narcissistic people will go through your entire people that you love, and they will make sure that they're going to leave a imprint. So I've had to deal with that. Like, I've dealt with losing friends. I've lost friends. I've lost family. I've lost a lot of people because of a person that is supposed to be a protector, but is what would you call it?
A vampire or a scorpion?
Yeah.
One of those. I like scorpion better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scorpion.
It makes you question everything about yourself. Yeah. And I've gone through that for so long, and it hindered me for so many things. Just loving myself. I stopped. Loving other people, I stopped. Because it's so hard when you have somebody in your ear and they're just like, well, these people don't love you. It's almost like a schizophrenic friend that's just in your ear.
Right.
They have to say is bad things about you.
And so the thing is that people can have narcissistic tendencies. So there's so many, and I have experienced it. It's not something that that I don't think anyone hasn't. Let's put it that way. There's always there's an element of narcissism in the world. It's out there. Now, how people use it, it's more prevalent in, for example, a toxic relationship. But like, for example, your parents sometimes, like my mom and dad, for example, my mom has ways or had ways of kind of egging me on to be better. But the way she did it was to say certain things that may have been destructive or seen as narcissistic. We got a great.
I want to touch on that a little bit as far as the narcissistic tendencies. There are a lot of tendencies that are codependency or ADHD or
Mhm.
CPTSD or insecure attachment. There's
Right.
probably a bunch of other different different, I guess, diagnosis, for a lack of a better term. But a lot of those look like narcissism from the outside.
Right.
They look
Right.
like
Right. And
narcissistic tendencies.
100%.
and and I usually, I mean, I take exception to saying that we all are narcissistic, because those things, even if we have those tendencies, they come from a different place, and they're for a different reason. And there's not the lack of accountability or compassion or empathy. And that's where I draw the line of
Yeah.
differentiation between narcissist
Mhm.
or not. And a lot of those tendencies, even if we have those tendencies, it does not make us then a narcissist, or even that it's really narcissistic tendencies, because it's also codependency or ADHD or
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
CPTSD. So lots of
And
overlap.
just to highlight something, that wasn't me putting down my parents at all. I had a great
Oh yeah,
childhood.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
dad, chill, 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 chill,
yeah.
chill,
I'm
chill.
gonna say, hey, let me not say
Um,
anything.
just
Be
want
quiet.
to, yeah, right. My phone's gonna go off any second. So just to also highlight, we did get a comment in BioShock. A narcissist will always isolate you from everyone so that you only have them. That's
Yeah.
really a big part of the abuse. And honestly, that is something.
That is a very big thing, and that happened. Like that definitely happens, and it happens in such a strange way because you don't see it coming.
Mhm.
Like you don't know that you're about to be isolated. It's just like everything's fine, and
Yeah.
then you start to lose people. Like it slowly happens, and then you're wondering why, like what's going on, and then your family is talking to you like, "Hey, what hurt?" Or "I hear," or "This is happening," or blah blah blah, or whatever. It's like they have a bit. So this person was actually diagnosed with narcissism.
Mm.
So, and that's very hard to be
Yeah.
diagnosed with narcissism.
Yeah. Hey, that's no fun. I don't
You
know
know?
if I want to be that person. Hi, yeah, I have narcissism. That's
But
crazy.
you
No,
know what it is, though? I think because I'm such a healer of a person, I noticed that it was that's what it was. But I try to find the good. I think that's the thing about me with where I find myself getting lost along the way. I look for the decency and the good in people, and it doesn't matter who you are. I will
Help
find
people.
something great about you, and I'll
and
pull it
and
out.
that's from your upbringing as well, though. I mean, I know your dad. He's an amazing human being, and honestly, it's that. We're all at our core. We all start as good, decent human beings.
Mhm.
It's so. I gotta say it that the world is so toxic right now with all the different opinions, and everyone's offended, and everyone's got this thing that's going on, and
Mhm.
my favorite comment right now is Ricky Gervais, my favorite comedian. He offends everyone, but this is just because you're offended doesn't make you right. So that to me, that is kind of encapsulates exactly what this society is going on with
What
right now.
happened? I just hit you where it hurt. I
Yeah,
hit you where
yeah,
it hurt.
you know what I mean. But we got another comment in from BioShock. Thank you so much. They do it like a small trickle of water, slowly eroding your relationships.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Well,
100% agree.
And
it
a lot
is.
of it is, it's so subtle. So many of the relationships that I lost, and the way that I lost them, and it happens for a lot of people. They don't ever really say that you can't go see someone or can't hang out with someone or can't be friends with them. There's just little subtle things that are punishment or trouble, or, well, I would rather have you stay home with me,
Yeah.
or it just little things. And then
Yeah.
they explain it away. I never said that you couldn't go hang out
Yeah.
with your friends or see your friends. I
Yeah.
didn't say that at all.
They'll
And
never
it,
say it
Yeah.
outright.
yeah,
No, it's never
yeah,
an outright
But
thing.
honestly, again, you kind of hit the nail on the head. That could be a multitude of things, really.
Yeah.
not having your own self-worth, like not understanding that somebody needs to go out and be themselves for you to actually have an actual relationship. The relationship isn't a relationship if you're reliant on each other.
Yeah.
A narcissistic person doesn't care about that. They don't care about what you have going on. You are on their terms. It's almost like an ownership. Now I have you, you do what I say. And if you have a problem with that, then let's fight.
Entitlement. I mean, that entitlement is a huge, it's a huge part of it. And even if they want rid of you, they break up with you, or they still feel entitled to you and that they own you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Even if they don't want you anymore, they still feel entitled to you.
Absolutely.
That's water, by the way, in case you were wondering if I was drinking beer. No, it's not that. It's not quite that episode right now. Don't worry. We haven't gotten that far yet. But honestly, I really started this podcast, this show. Basically, myself and Roxanne have been talking about it for months. But it's something that's been in its infancy for quite a while. I myself have gone through separation, depression, job loss, name it, pick one. I'm going through it right now. But one of the things that I always said I wanted to do is to create a forum where people can have open dialogue with professionals or people who have good experience or knowledge that can maybe give them something that can be the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's literally what we're talking about. This is what this podcast is, everyone. At the end of the show, I will be posting as well on the Facebook and YouTube page. It will be a Google number. You can text in topics and things that you want to talk about. You can do the same thing here. But I want you to know that you can be anonymous. You can reveal who you are. It doesn't matter. We're obviously aware that these topics can be quite sensitive. You don't want to let people know all of your business on live streaming. So we're here for you. This was made for you. So anyway, going back into the show, Kyle, what you've been through, it has a huge impact on the rest of your life as well, because there's so many. I'm speaking of someone in particular. When you go through life and you have a multitude of things that happen to you, and they're just constantly kicking you, you lose faith in humanity. It's almost like, well, I had a guy cheat on me. I had a narcissist. I had this. I had that. I had this. Mm-hmm. So then, literally, you're now trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole, even though you might meet Mr. Right or Mrs. Right or whoever. And it's almost like disbelief, and to where you're creating this destructive.
That's called self-sabotage.
It is. Thank you. Thank you, Roxanne. I was looking for those words.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, we perpetuate so much of the abuse that we've gone through, and that's the healing work is not so that we feel a little bit better or whatever. It's so that we can accept the good things in our life. It's so that we don't push away the good people and the good relationships. It's not we already know how to handle the trauma and the abuse and all of those things that we lived through. We know how to do that. It's the other part, the accepting the peace, the loving ourselves, forgiving ourselves.
Bioshock, you don't have to ask if you can ask a question. Go right ahead. The forum is open for you if you want to ask a question, of course. That's what we are here for. I am by no means an expert, Roxanne included, Kyle included, but we have experience, and we're here just to basically try and be some kind of a candlelight, if you will, in a dark room.
Can I curse on this thing?
Yes, you can. It is.
Hey, Bio, I'm just here because I'm mentally fucked. So we're all in the same room. You can ask whatever you want.
That was what I should have been with the beeper over here. Beep. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, no, you're good. So honestly, getting back to Roxanne, we've been friends for quite a while.
Mhm.
I did a podcast with you, I think it's 2 years ago now. And you were quite literally at your highest height. You'd gone to Europe, you were recording, you were doing all these things. And when narcissistic behaviors start taking over in your vicinity or within the toxicity of your social group, let's call it that, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all these big things that are happening in your life are no longer wins. They're just you just feel like, well, what can I do to please anybody? I can't win. It's and I can tell you right now. So first of all, I said I wasn't going to do this, but definitely, if you want to hear great music, Roxanne is definitely that person. She's a rapper, believe it or not. Yes, that's what she does. But she's incredible. She has a great message. And meeting her now, you wouldn't believe the person that I was talking to 2 years ago. They're two different people almost. So I give her a round of applause for that. Now, Bioshock has thrown in a question. 15 years ago, I was able to leave a marriage with a narcissistic abuser, but we have a child together. Now 17 years old. How can I support my child with a narcissistic parent whom...
Girl, boy, get a TPO. Get a TPO. Because there is no, I mean, honestly, in answering that question, I am thankful that I've never had a child with a narcissistic person, but I've been around narcissistic people who have children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a child is 17, so they're grown-er, than a smaller child.
I think the biggest thing in this situation, just because I'm freshly in this separation stuff,
That's hard.
It's really difficult. But I will say this: you have a 17-year-old. He's not 5. He's not 6. He's not 3.
Mm-hmm.
You can only be the parent that you want him to see you be. You can't you can't pander to an audience. You be the parent that you're supposed to be, and only you know how to do that. So for me, like, if you have a narcissistic abuser of a parent, whether he loves his son or not, I think let your child figure it out themselves. Give them the tools. They're now 17, almost 18.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to see this themselves. Do not be the person that gives them the tools, or sorry, not the tools, but the gun, so to speak. Because the worst thing you can do, and this is something that I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, relationships end. I've had many thoughts about my ex, many, right? I can have so many negative things, but the negativity was because of the separation. It wasn't because of who she is as a person. Who she is as a person is a great mother, right? And so I would never, ever, ever say anything bad or derogatory about her to anyone or to the kids. And I think that's where you have to stay. You have to live in that positivity, because as soon as you start making it about him and you, your kid doesn't see what he needs to see or she needs to see, because they need to see how the best foot forward, so to speak. They need to know what right and wrong is. They don't need to see, back and forth. It's not a tennis match or any of that.
Oh, look at you preaching for the choir.
I'm not preaching for the choir. It's something that really resonates with me, because, at the end of the day, I've seen so many people use their kids as weapons almost. It's disgusting, but it's also it's because it's like, oh, I know where I can get him. I can get him here or her here. Like, this is how I hurt. And that's not how we need to act. I think, honestly, what you're doing right now is fine. You've left the marriage. Let that little girl or boy figure it out. They're going to be 18 soon. They're probably a lot more worldly than you give them credit for. And
But what he's saying is that his child loves his narcissistic parent
Mhm.
very, very, very much. So I think when it comes to that, that's harder. It's
Oh,
harder
yeah.
because
100%.
now it's like you really don't have you as I'm assuming this is a father. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're a mother. I'm not sure. I just feel like when it comes to certain things like that, it's hard to try to find that common ground within your child, because if your child is so attached to a narcissistic person, that is very difficult because it's like it's always being
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
all of these bad things. So it's like, how do you come back from that and still be there for your child?
You can educate them what narcissism is. You can tune in and watch Head Noise with Kyle Miller, Roxanne, Luciano, and Philip Parker as we're talking about this. You teach them how to identify toxic behaviors, so when they see it in another adult or another human being, they can either navigate it or avoid it. It's
Okay.
not it's not about necessarily removing them from that relationship, because if they love their dad, let them love their dad. That's a bond you don't want to break. You don't want to break that.
Mhm.
And not to mention, you don't want to have that animosity directed towards you, because
That's really good.
you obviously love your child enough to steer them clear of the situation.
Well, and
Uh,
if you say anything about it, the narcissist is better at lying and manipulation than we are. And
Yeah.
so anything that you say or do will be transmuted back to the narcissist via the child, and then it will blow up in your face.
Absolutely.
And it will in a lot of ways probably blow up the relationship that you have with the child. I think if you're going to educate them on anything, you do not use the word narcissism at all whatsoever, ever at all. You use the specific behaviors that happen, the specific different things that happen, and you point those out. Because narcissism, it's a catch-all phrase for all of the different tendencies and everything else that goes on. And so if we talk about a specific individual situation, abuse or manipulation or any of the other things that happen, if we talk about that and address that specifically, that will go a lot further. And there's a couple of other things that you can do. One of the big things which we do not want to do is we don't want to be vulnerable, and we don't want to show that we have issues and problems and struggles. I'm going to keep that from my child so they stay protected. And that is the worst way to try to protect your child, in my opinion, because
they need to see
I
they're
agree.
human.
yeah,
I
they
agree.
need to see that we're human. And also the big thing too, which is not easy, nobody wants to do it, but do the work, get the help, get support. I mean, do something in order to help with your healing process, because they will see what's what you're doing, and they will respond far much more to that. So if you're like, no, I'm good, then what they're going to do is they're going to go, no, I'm good, in their
Right.
life, even though they've been messed
Right.
up. Because you can't have a relationship with a narcissist and not get messed up at least a little. So
Right.
so
Right.
that's a big, it's a big piece of it, and let them find out as they do, and just do the work for yourself, and help them in the way that you can without putting anything on them.
Right. I think we lost Roxanne, even though she's got a lovely picture of herself frozen right there. We'll continue on. She'll join us as soon as she gets reconnected. Have a question. After being broken by a narcissist, how do you break that faith in humanity when the right one comes along, but you can't distinguish the intentions of the genuine person? So essentially, I think what they're trying to say is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, is that you've been so broken that you have lost that faith in humanity, and you can't really distinguish between good and bad, because you just assume everything is bad. Would that be a fair Is it GTM? Yeah, GTM. Would that be a fair assessment of the question? Welcome back, Roxanne.
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened.
It's cool. You know what? We just kept going. It's not. You didn't. We had the question come up here. GTM is the use. I love this YouTube stuff because they don't have to. They don't have to give their real names. But trying to figure out how to say them is a whole different ballgame. After being broken by a narcissist, how do you break that faith in humanity when the right one comes along, but you can't distinguish the intentions of the genuine person? So essentially, it's what I said we were kind of talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. It's like when someone calls you names so many times, and then all of a sudden you just believe it's true. It's happened so many times you don't believe that there's good out there. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think a lot of it is mindset. It's what we gear ourselves up to sociologically. Sorry, I can't even say the word, but sociologically hang out with. It's what we gravitate towards. So, for example, if we and my camera's being jerky. God, this is brilliant. You can still hear me. I just turned off the lights. I'll keep talking. It's essentially it's what you're trying to be around the same people. You're not breaking these social circles. You're attracting yourselves to the same people. You're not doing anything new. I say the same thing in business. Don't do the same thing looking for different results. It's the definition of insanity. You're essentially doing that if you are going for the same type of human. You're not trying to necessarily break the mold, so to speak. And that's a really difficult one because at the end of the day, it's not about necessarily going for the right person or the wrong person. It's knowing these traits and how to avoid them, so to speak. And, to answer your question, I think at some point you're going to have to take a risk again and have faith in humanity. If the person is good, they'll understand. If you communicate that you have issues, they'll understand. But again, I think unfortunately it's about taking risks because there is no right or wrong way to deal with this. If you hide from it, then you're hiding your whole life because you'll never find the right person.
And I honestly, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brad.
You're good. Yeah, I was going to say, I think especially when we first get out of the relationship with a narcissist, I mean, what I recommend for everyone is that you need a really organized, boring life where you do nothing other than eat and sleep and work on yourself. Get support, get help, because we're not, until we get ourselves back to a more stable, calm, healthy place. The next toxic person, they will use those vulnerabilities of, I went through this. I'm here to save you. I'm going to save you. And so they're going to use that to rope us in. And I think also trusting no one at all. I mean, that's what I tell every single one of my clients. You have no business trusting me until I've earned it. You have no business trusting me or whoever else in your life. Trust is something that's earned, and good people do not mind taking the time, making the time in order to earn that trust. And they're the ones that are like, wait a minute, you don't, I haven't earned this trust. You should not have the level of trust in me yet. That, if you however much trust you have, we earn that trust along the way. And I think, yes, getting back out and having relationships, but we have to do the work to some extent. There's some of the work that we can't do by ourselves. We can get really good by ourselves, and then we date somebody else for, in any sort of relationship, friendship, or
it's what I'm trying to remember the comedian now, but he said it's like a Vietnam relationship. You wake up with cold sweats and you're just thinking like you're in there again, but it's exactly that. Like you can't hide
because you were hurt. It's no different to riding a bike and falling off. You have to
Yeah.
trust that you're going to learn how to identify these behaviors better. But also don't rush into another relationship so quickly that you haven't healed enough, because let's be
Yes.
fair. Let's
I agree.
be 100% fair. Anyone that just joined, I'm not sitting in a dark room. My my camera is just being weird. They're just talking to a black
Philip,
screen. What the heck?
your avatar, like you just have your mouth open right now.
Yeah, I'm just at the
just chill.
camera. But
I think-
you have
I
to be
think what they-
healed. You have to be 100%. You have to,
But
or at
see,
least
I think
80%.
with that, I think it's very hard. So it's like I'm going through this right now. Like this is exactly what I'm going through. I just got out of a relationship with a narcissist, and it's very hard. I don't trust people, period, at all. And I've never. And I think that's a bittersweet thing with me, because I've dismissed a lot of people because I absorb energy. So with absorbing energy, you just soak in people's auras,
Mhm.
and you can feel when somebody's just not right. Like once you've been around that so much, you can feel it. Are you there, Philip?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah. I
So
just
it's
turned off the
it's
camera.
weird
It's got a little
trying-
picture. I'd rather have a
trying to-
picture of me and my son than, just black screen. You know what I mean?
I think trying to come back from that, it's hard, because now you're looking at everybody as everyone has a motive.
Mhm.
And when you start to look at that, then you can't find peace in people. So it's
Well,
very
and
hard.
you run off the good people. You run out the good people, and
Yep.
and the toxic people, they'll deal with whatever it is in order to rope you in,
Yeah,
because they're going
exactly.
to be in the love bombing phase anyway. So it's dangerous when we first get out. And I know, what they say, which I think this is probably on the good end of things. They say for every year that you've been in a relationship, you need at least a month of healing. And I think that's looking on the positive side of things, because if you've been with a narcissist, it's perhaps longer than that. And that's with help. And a lot of people don't, it's like I'm gonna work through this on my own, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the videos, and nothing against those, because I've done so much of that. But my life did not change without lots of extra help and support. I
Yeah.
had multiple counselors, multiple coaches for years, and almost 20 years of background in personal development. So I've had a lot of different things, and I still needed a ton of help in order to really be okay. And then the first the first, I don't know, first couple people that I dated, they were narcissists again. And then
It's like, God damn it, really? Come on.
and then I moved on to, I think, an avoidant. I'm unpositive.
It's like when you get the wrong Taco
unpositive.
Bell. Not that I eat that much. Screw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I eat a lot of Taco Bell.
You know what I've gone through, and I think what my flaw is, I am a healing person, and I've attract damaged people because I'm damaged. It's almost like one of those things where I can fix this, but I can't fix me.
Mhm.
And with
Well,
that,
maybe, yeah.
that's a mental thing in itself.
It's
That's
also avoidance. I mean, and it's not conscious, but a lot of this, getting into a new relationship, fixing other people, doing all of those things are so much easier than working on ourselves.
Mhm.
And so yes, I'm gonna go find I'm gonna find the wounded bird, and I'm gonna save that. And and it's like, oh yeah, it's a good thing that I'm doing all of this to save them, but we don't face ourselves. And that's
Exactly.
the hardest. It is the hardest work, and it has the most ways of us avoiding doing it, whether it's work or a new relationship or saving someone else, or or just distractions.
Mhm. It's very difficult. I think when you come out, like I don't think a lot of people realize when it comes with mental health, the things that we carry with us. throughout
Right,
every
right.
relationship, or throughout everything, whether it's family, friends, or lovers. We carry all of that with ourselves, and we bring that into different situations. Maybe we don't mean to, but
And
a
nobody
lot of
taught
us
us.
just bring that.
Yeah,
And nobody's saying, hey, you can't, because at this point you're self-sabotaging. Because
Mhm.
now you have a great person in front of you, but you don't see greatness. What you're saying is, let me end this before it hurts me.
Mhm.
Let me move, let me get out the way before this destroys me. When
But
it could be the greatest thing in front of your face.
for most of us though, we don't realize, we're not aware that we're not aware. And it's not to throw shame or judgment or anything on, because I've been in the same situation. I'm sure that I'll be in the same situation again and go, oh, how did I not see that
I don't
in
see that.
myself that I needed to work through? But I think, and this is my, I hate to criticize, but also I feel it needs criticism of the personal development and the self-help
Absolutely.
industry. There's very little in the how to part of it. So we need to forgive ourselves, we need to let go, we need to move on, we need to all of the things. And there is very, very little help in how to actually do that. And it's certainly
Absolutely.
not something that our parents taught us, or we wouldn't have been in the situation that we were in.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally. 100%.
And a lot of people, especially, so I was talking to Philip earlier and I was like, hey, because it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month,
Mhm.
a lot of men don't get acknowledged for their emotions, their feelings, how
Yeah.
they feel, what they're going through. The suicide rate for men is skyrocket. Like it's
Mhm.
ridiculously high. And a
Yep.
lot of people don't understand that because they feel like men are supposed to be these robotic of a person, and that's just not how, as humans, we're not built that way. Just
Yeah.
because men don't express themselves the way that women do doesn't mean that they don't have feelings, and it doesn't mean that they don't feel things and they're not hurting. It's a lot of men that go through things silently and nobody knows until it's too late.
Mhm.
And I think that it needs to be like a thing that, I don't know, like a lot of men don't want to get help. A lot of men, okay, let's just talk about like men who've gone through like rape,
So I can
molestation. It's like they don't. They're it's a what is it? It's like that complex that I don't want to. I don't want this out because when it's out,
Inferiority complex, where you're
well, yeah,
basically it's almost like it's it's not
it's
as masculine as
emasculating.
yeah, emasculated. There you go. Thank you.
and I
Mhm.
just
See,
think
I
that
do
that's
know words.
ridiculous.
Mhm.
I think that that's absolutely ridiculous. I think that like the men in my life, I need them in my life. Like
Mhm.
we need y'all. Y'all are essential. Y'all are amazing. Like you two are phenomenal. And if nobody else told you today, I'm telling you that both of you men are fucking amazing.
I
And
appreciate that.
I just need it to be more noticed. Like men need to be more noticed when it comes to their feelings and what they go through.
I think one of the biggest things too um, is that there's a huge fear, and rightfully so, because it has shown up for a lot of guys. When they open up, then all kinds of bad things happen.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've seen, so if somebody sees that something's wrong with me, which, not that there's anything wrong with you, if you have a mental emotional struggle, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, but that's how society views it, and that's how most men view it, and it's a huge thing that I had to work through. And so we don't want to let any of that out, because bad things always happen when we do that. And it's still, I mean, it's still something with me, so many other people and other men, oh, you're talking about your feelings and your emotions and whatever. I mean, that you obviously have some issues. And
Now you have issues and now you're a sassy man. And now it's just so many weird things that people say.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I hate that so much because it's so it's like you're completely shoving this person into just of nothing. Like, you're not supposed to have feelings. You're a man. Why do you have feelings? You're a man. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to feel this. You're supposed to protect and provide. Like, that's your job as a human being. That's what you're supposed to do in this world. That's your only job. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
And I have with men that reach out, because I work mostly with women, not that I choose to work mostly with women, but I know that with men, I will have 1% maybe of men that I work with compared to how many women I talk to. And even the men that reach out, that say that they want help, that ask if I can help them, that that I offer help. They, it's like, get on a free call with me and I'll talk about what I do and all of that. The majority of them, that reach out, still will not get on a call with me, a free call, without paying. I mean, that's where the situation, where the conversation ends. Is, I mean, even when they were the one that reached out to me and they needed the help and they needed the support, and this isn't to throw shame on them, but it is so much for guys especially to overcome all of the stuff in order for us to allow anyone to actually help us.
So, not to cut you guys off, but we're coming into the last 15 minutes and we have a couple of questions. In response to the faith in humanity question, which led down a long discussion, how do you show someone who is
not fully healed from a past narcissistic relationship, that you are a genuine person when they won't let you show them that you are genuine due to their past situation?
You need to let them heal. You need to let them heal, because you're not going. I mean, this is my opinion. I am not fully healed, so I can't see the greatness in people right now. But I know that, and I'm very self-aware of that. So I kind of just stay away. I feel like when it comes to people who've gone through that, allow them space to remember greatness in people. Allow them a little time to just, reflect on goodness of themselves. And then maybe they can come out that shell. Like, I'm still healing. I don't know. I can't find a friend for the life of me, because I don't trust. I just don't want to deal with anyone at this point.
I think
but that's the fear. That's the fear of being hurt. So it's like, I've been hurt before. I don't want to get hurt again. So
I don't want to keep getting hurt.
It's better if I go into my safe room, close the door, and not talk to anybody. And you know what? It's easier for me to get on social media or talk to someone through a text message, or distance myself where I can close the book or close the phone or close the PC, laptop, whatever you want to call it, and it's done. And I think, honestly, how do you show someone who's not fully healed from a past narcissistic relationship that you are a genuine person when they won't let you show them that? It's not for you to show them. You can't force them. You can't force them. It's that old saying, isn't it? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can just show them that you're not, and they have to perceive it. If they don't perceive it, then you can't. Unfortunately for you, there's a decision to make in this scenario, because I'm a huge believer that, yes, you may love someone, but love isn't enough to keep you in a relationship. It really isn't. It's not. And I'm not trying to talk someone out of a relationship. I'm going to get somebody messed. People are going to be like, Phil said to leave this guy or gal. I don't even know, whoever it is. But it's like, it's the whole point of this is have your own self-worth as well.
Well, and I think
believe in your self-worth.
That's one of the big things that I wanted to point out too, is and not to throw shame or judgment on this person, because that's not what this is about at all. But I think why do you feel so strongly that you have to or need to show them that, this is what this seems like in some ways is I want to go save them. I want to save this person, and so I'm going to love them even though they've gone through this. And I'm not saying that that's not true, but I think there's an aspect where we then look at ourselves. Why do I have to, come into, to try to save this person or try to love them that much more so that they can move past that? And what wounds do I then have in me that I haven't worked through yet? And this is me speaking from my own experience of doing the same thing too. It's much easier to go save them and to go do all of that than for us to do the work, because I'm all anxious about wanting to be with them and love them enough so that they can love themselves. And in the process, I'm abandoning myself and I'm not loving myself because they're not in a situation where they can accept the love either. And I think it's very different if they're willing to do the work along with you doing the work in order for both of you to heal and grow together. But if they're not doing that, then it's at a point where usually we have to let them go. And that sucks. And I hate to say that, but that's, I've been through this, and I've seen so many of my clients go through this. And it's just not, I mean, it's a bad situation, and it doesn't mean it's bad people. It just means that we all have more work for us to do.
And but I will say this, as we're talking here, by no means is anything that me, Kyle, or Roxanne gospel. It's just not. It's what we've gone through. It's how we've dealt with the situations that we've been through. I'm very conscious of the fact that, some people might be in a place right now where it's like they're going to grasp at any advice that they can grab, right? One size does not fit all, and you know your situation better than anyone. In this specific scenario that we were talking about, it's not about just you knowing your self-worth. It's not also about, it's about communication with this person. It's making them understand that you are now trying to show them that you are not this person, but they also have to be open to that idea. Because there's no point in both of you doing different things. She's gone. Wow, talk about technical stuff today, but we've powered on through it, Kyle. For some reason, I just need to call you and get all your setup over there and just be like, hey, man. Anyway, so, and she's back. It's
why that keeps happening.
It's good. It's good. I told him we're going to call Kyle after this and we're going to go, hey, man, how did you do this? But look, I want everyone to know that these episodes, these things that you that we talk about, it's for you to empower you to make a decision that will better your situation. It's not by any means, hey, go do this and it'll fix everything. That may not be the case.
Everybody lives their life different. You can give advice, but every advice is not good for everybody. Everybody has their own way of dealing with things. But I think what we're doing on this platform is we're just allowing people to really just feel and just, acknowledge their feelings without anyone judging them, or without anybody just being like, hey, well, you should do this or you should do that, or you shouldn't have done this or you shouldn't have done that. Like, nobody wants to hear anything like that. People want to hear, okay, well, maybe you should try this. See if this works for you. Let's not say that you did something wrong because you believed in somebody that wasn't worth nothing. It's okay. We all have our faults. We all try to see the good in people. And I think that that's what makes us great people, is because we always try to see the greatness in people, even if they don't deserve it. We try to see the greatness in people. And I think when it comes to people who are hurting, all we can do is lend an ear and speak on what we've dealt with. And maybe that can help somebody. But even if it doesn't, it's helping them by even just hearing it. Because you know how many people are going through this? Are still dealing with this.
Yeah.
People who can't even
I
escape their
don't even
relationship. People who
honestly,
are
I don't even know where to start with that. I'll be honest.
yes,
Like
like it's a big deal.
But
it's
ultimately, we all have to make our own decisions, and that's, you know, with being a coach and doing what I do, there very rarely do I ever offer advice. I offer perspective, you know, my own thoughts about things, but everyone has to make their own decision for themselves in the way that's right for them.
So how do you feel about people who can't? Some people just can't. Some people are not built to be alone. Some people are not equipped to be by themselves and they need somebody. They're going to just go with anyone. So how does that work?
but that's not that in itself is you're not independent, you're codependent, and that's
They're
another form.
codependent.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly.
And we have to allow them to do what it is that they're going to do. I mean, that's, you know, we can't go save everyone. So if they have to move on to the next relationship, I mean, it's, you know, sometimes that's a huge coping mechanism. You know, some people use booze, some people use drugs, you know, then some people just bounce from relationship to relationship, and that's how they cope with those things. And it's not that's not to throw shame, you know, or shade on any of that, because if we don't have the capacity and the understanding and the awareness to actually deal with and work through things, then we use coping mechanisms. Every single one of us does.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank both of you, first of all. This has been an amazing first episode. It's quite the journey that we are going on. And Kyle, you've been absolutely fantastic tonight. Thank you so much for your insight. Actually,
welcome. Thank you.
while you're here, this is something that you do full time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Share with the share with the class. Tell us
Yes.
tell us how we can utilize your services, or if anyone's interested in utilizing your services, how to reach out to you.
Yeah, you can go to kylemillercoaching.com and you can schedule from there or get a hold of me. I'm Kyle Miller Coaching on pretty much all social media, so you can get a hold of me there. You can find my content, and happy to talk with anyone, no matter what the situation, where you're at. My mission is for no one to ever feel alone or hopeless after they've gone through this. And so whether or not you can have the money to, you know, to pay me to work with me, you can always reach out, and I'll do my best in every way that I can to help and support you.
Awesome.
That was beautiful, Kyle. That was beautiful.
So what I'm gonna do now is basically we're gonna end the show, but I want to share a couple of things with you, and I'm trying to get the right details. Give me 1 second here, because this is all new and fun and stuff, right? And while I'm just being slow with no picture on the screen, oh my god. Don't forget, this beautiful person standing to the right of Kyle, depending on how you're, she's also a musician. So while she does have a beautiful mind, she also has some awesome music, and I think it's very, very, very important that we support her in her journey as well. And you know, I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. It's been a labor of love that has made this come to fruition, and I'm actually very, very happy with that.
Oh my God.
If you want to contact the show, unscriptedproductionstudio@gmail.com. You can also text in with topics or questions and stuff that we can start the next show with. That's 503-862-9972. As always, we're here just trying to serve a purpose, trying to help people through the dark times. You know, reading statistics today, you know, it's not looking great out there right now. A lot of depressed people trying to find their way. So don't be ashamed of reaching out and saying I'm not okay. It's all part of that. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm gonna call it a night, and we're going to close out with this awesome, fun closeout video that I made, which hopefully it works. Otherwise we're screwed, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. So thank you so much, guys. You have a great evening, and go Grace.
Thank you, guys.